Good morning, America. I'm Landon Brown here at the famous Windthorst ISD, and today I've got for you a product review on an exciting and innovative new product on the market today, the Nexus 6.
Today we have the Nexus 6. It has a 6-inch display. The speakers up front, they're in front, they're very clear. The battery on standby can go 3 days. It's a very long life for the battery. The camera it's a 13 megapixel on the rear, 3 on the front. The resolution on this phone is very clear, one of the highest on smartphones nowadays. This phone has a 3 gig RAM. The downfalls of the Nexus 6 are that there's no expandable memory on the back of the phone, so you cannot take the cover off the phone. On this phone, there's no physical home button, so you have to push it on the screen. There's your recent apps, your home button. Without a good case, there is no grip on this phone, so it's very slippery. You need to be very careful when you're dealing with this phone.
Competing against the Nexus 6 today, we have an iPhone 5. Now, the iPhone 5 has many pros, but not as many as the Nexus 6. Today, the iPhone has a 4-inch display instead of a 6-inch display, so it's not as big of a display. The iPhone also has really clear speakers when you don't have a case on. Now, if you put a case on, the speakers get very difficult to hear from. Well, another thing the iPhone has, it has a really decent camera. The camera is an 8 megapixel camera, but again, not as good as the Nexus 6. One thing the iPhone does have on the Nexus 6 is it has a physical home button you can press even when the screen isn't working. Another thing the iPhone also has is, because of the square edges, it has a really decent grip. It's a lot easier to hold, doesn't need a case to keep it stationary, doesn't slide very easily.
Okay, so in this segment, what we're going to do is we're going to be comparing the physical qualities and a couple of the internal qualities of the iPhone and the Nexus. So first off, as you can see, Nexus is very much easier to see, very much a more versatile handheld device. It's got a much bigger display. Second, the battery on these devices. Now, the battery on the Nexus will last you quite a while, even if you are doing something on it, even if you're texting someone all the time, you're going to last twice as long as the iPhone will. The Nexus has a 3200 milliamp hour battery. And the iPhone only has a 1500 milliamp hour battery. The Nexus has a better camera than the iPhone 5. The Nexus has a 13 megapixel camera, which, as you can tell, one is larger than the other. The iPhone has an 8 megapixel camera, which is not near as much resolution. One of the last things that I wanted to say today is that the Nexus 6 has a 3 gigabyte RAM, which allows for 3 times the speed of surfing the web, sending and receiving texts, all kinds of stuff, versus the iPhone's 1 gigabyte RAM.